Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen and I love to craft. Today we have a very exciting video. We are going to be doing a card collab with Jen over at Jenny Lynn Handcrafted. She has sent me a card and today we are going to be opening it. With the card collab, we are going to be implementing something that she has created. So let's go ahead and see what she sent over. I love this cute washi tape. If you have not seen her recent video, she did a washi tape unboxing. I don't think that this was included with that unboxing, but she has the cutest washi tapes. All right, let's go ahead and take it out. Oh my goodness. Look at those cute flip-flops. It says hello summer. I love how she did all of that. And those flip-flops are just, oh my goodness, I cannot. I know that she implemented these flip-flops from my wooden sign that I created. If you haven't seen that video, I will definitely link it down below. I love how she includes just those little details where she stamps it on the inside. And of course, she does her little logo on the back, and she did a print then cut sticker for that. So let's go ahead and pick out some supplies and get started on our card today. Okay, so I picked out these two stamps. This one is from Lawn Fawn and this one is from, I believe, the Dollar Tree. But what I wanted to do is take this Aloha and the sunglasses, and I also wanted to use the flip-flops from this since she used flip-flops in this card. So that is what we will be incorporating today. So let's go ahead and get out our Misty. The Misty is a stamping folder. So what you do is you take your stamps and a scrap piece of cardstock, and these stamps will cling to the window. That way that it makes positioning the stamps a lot easier. So let's go ahead and take this one out. And we are going to be using the Aloha right here. And I think we should definitely use the pineapple as well. And we have our scrap piece of cardstock here. So we are going to place it right here in the corner. Use this magnetic tool right here and position it down. And then we are going to take our stamps and place them right there. And then let's go ahead and get out the flip-flops from this one. And place them right there. All right, and I think that I definitely want to stamp out the flip-flops twice. So what I'm going to do is kind of position it down a little bit. That way that once we are done with this part, we could stamp them again. So let's go ahead and close up our folder. And now our stamps are right here. We are going to take our Memento in the shade Tuxedo Black and just go over the top of the stamps. Close that folder up, and then we are going to take this tool right here, and it just applies that even pressure. All right, let's go ahead and stamp these out again. That did not do too good. And I know that the Lawn Fawn stamps are thicker than the flip-flops, so I might have to do the flip-flops separate, which is completely fine. I just don't think that they are going to stamp too good on this round. Make sure that that cardstock is in place and close our folder. Again, using that even pressure. All right, these two look great. So what I'm going to do is cut these off with a pair of scissors. And we can just flip over this piece of cardstock here and position it right there. And I'm going to go ahead and take these off as well. And let's take this and let's see if it'll line up with that cardstock, and it will. So let's go ahead and ink it up again. And close the folder. We will definitely have to stamp these out a few times. This is kind of, I know that the Dollar Tree isn't that great of quality for their stamps, but they are just so stinking cute. So we are going to try to make it work at least. We might have to press down maybe a little bit harder. All right, I'm going to try to work with this a little bit and I will be right back. Okay, so what I figured out is the stamp is not wide enough to reach the cardstock. So let's go ahead and restamp that. So here it is. What I want to do with this is stamp it out again. And I'm going to try to thicken it up. So I'm going to have a few extra pieces of cardstock down here so that the stamp can actually reach it. Where is our little, here we go. Okay, so we have that. Let's go ahead and stamp out our flip-flops. That looks so much better. So I think that the issue was just we needed to add a little bit more cardstock, that way that we can reach it. Okay, so that turned out great. I do want to turn the paper, that way that we can stamp it out a couple times. Okay, so we are done with this. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this mess and I will be right back. I love the Ohuhu brand markers. If you don't know what they are alcohol markers and they have the smoothest texture. So I picked out the shades R25, BG5, G120, R10, Y1, and it looks like actually all of these are Ohuhu except for the G120. That one is by the brand SFAIH and it is actually from Amazon. Okay, so I want to do the pineapple with Ohuhu Y1 and I just like to do a few little lines just to test it and make sure that it is the correct color that I want. And I love that color, so let's go ahead and color in the pineapple. Then we are going to go in with the shade G120. I love that color for the leaves. Pineapple's done. Let's work on the flip-flops. And I thought that we could go in with the shade R10. That's very bright. R25. And BG5. Okay, so for the flip-flops, let's just do all three colors. This color is very dark. I did not realize that, so we are probably just going to pick out one pair of flip-flops, and I'm thinking that it might be the purple because it's the lightest color that we have. This one's very neon, and then I'm just not liking it, so we might just go with the purple. Okay, so out of all these flip-flops, we are definitely going to go with the purple. I didn't realize that these colors were going to be either dark or very neon. So let me get some scissors and we are just going to kind of fussy cut these out. I don't have a die for these. They did come from the Dollar Tree, and of course they do not include dies with their stamps. All right, and then I'm going to trim it down a little bit more. My friend Jen also sent this over to me because she knows how much that I needed one, especially with cutting like sentiments and stuff. So I am very thankful for her. She has become such a great little crafting friend that I can like bounce ideas off of. And if you don't know who she is, I will go ahead and link her channel down below. She does a lot of Cricut crafts, card making, just a bunch of different things. So now I want to go ahead and trim this down a little bit more. Maybe Alright, that looks great. Let's go ahead and set this to the side. We do have a die for the pineapple, so let's go ahead and take that one out. Okay, so we have our die cutting machine here, and we also have our washi tape, so we are going to take just a little piece of it to secure the die down. About right there. Place that washi tape over the little pineapple, and then we are going to put this on top and run it through. Okay, let's see how it turned out. And here's our pineapple. It is so stinking cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this to the side. We have our pineapple, aloha, and our flip-flops. Now I want to do some ink blending. If you are a subscriber, then you probably know that I love to ink blend. I'm not very good at it, but it's just a technique that I've been working on, and I just like how it adds just a little extra to a card. So what I'm doing now is just taking some washi tape, and I like to kind of like put it over like my jeans or my t-shirt that I'm wearing, that way that it gets a little less sticky and it doesn't rip the cardstock. So I'm also going to be placing it along the edges of the card. That way that we can kind of get a little bit of gap between the ink blending and the edge of the card. Okay, I have my ink blending brush, clean of course, just stained. And then we are going to go in with the shade Latte by Simon Says Stamps. And this is their little ink cubes. So I'm just going to dab onto the ink cube, dab onto my glass mat, and then we are going to bring it in. I don't think I've used this color yet, so I'm not sure if we need to go very light-handed, but it's kind of looking like it. Might just be a very light shade. Alright, so it does look like it is a very light shade, and that is exactly what we're going for. We just need a little touch of color, that way that these stand out more than the ink blending does. So I'm going to go ahead and just fast forward, and I will be right back. So now that we are done ink blending, it is just, again, a very light shade. So let's go ahead and peel off the washi tape, and you can definitely tell the color difference. Now we are going to take some foam dots and start building up our card. So we want the pineapple, and we also want the flip-flops right there, and then our little greeting right here. And I'm just going to take a few of these dots, place them on the back. Okay, now that I have those placed, let's go ahead and take off the backing. Now I'm going to take my reverse tweezers, and this just helps with placement. So I know for sure I want the flip-flops right there. And then I want this little pineapple to go right beside it. And then for this right here, we want it as center as possible. So these are very handy. That way that you can kind of hover over, make sure that you have it in the right spot before you press it down. All right, now let's go ahead and add some gems to our card. We are going to be using our dewdrops, of course. Our neighbor next door is working on their car, and every time that I press film, they start revving up their car. So I've tried to film this so many times, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try to get through it. So if you hear some revving, just try to ignore it. But we are going to be just placing a few dewdrops on here. I love the way that these look. It just adds kind of like a very classic and clean look to a card. And that is just what I really go for. So we are going to take a couple, not too many. The card is a 4" by 4" card, and so you don't want to add too much to it. All right, so I'm kind of liking the way that that is placed. Maybe scoot these a little bit closer like that. And then we are going to take our precision tip glue bottle, place a little dot of glue on here, and put that gem down like that. And then we are going to do the same thing to these gems over here. You don't want to add too much glue because then it starts to poke out around the gems. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side. Now we are going to take our scoreboard and we are going to score our card at the 4" mark. 4" mark is right there. Go ahead and score it down. And then it just makes it easier to fold in half. And then I also like to take this tool right here, press it down, that way that the card stays closed. All right, now that we are done with this, let's go ahead and get out some double-sided foam tape. And we have some right here, so let's go ahead and take our front card panel, flip it over. We are just going to add 3 strips. So we'll do one in the middle, one right there, and then we'll do one right there. And now we can go ahead and peel off the backings. And we could take the front panel and attach it to our card. Of course, we want to make it as center as possible, like that, and then gently press it down. All right, and this is how our card turned out. I had so much fun doing a card collab with Jen over at Jenny Lynn Handcrafted. I will have her channel linked down in the description box below, that way that you guys can go over there and check her out. I hope that you guys enjoyed this card collab just as much as I did, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!